In Yanbian Prefecture in the freezing winter, the icebreakers are working on a frozen river when a blue bus crosses a bridge nearby. There, a young girl named Nana is standing in front of a group of tourists, wrapping up their trip. She's working as a tour guide, and as she finishes her speech and rests in a chair, we see how tiring it is for her. Meanwhile, another main character, Lee Hae-feng, is visiting Korea to attend his classmate's wedding. He's completely detached from the entire situation, hearing nothing and checking his phone repeatedly. From the short conversation he has with his classmates, we learn that he's quite a wealthy person. The traditional Korean wedding should be interesting at the very least, but Hae-feng shows no interest whatsoever. Finally, he sees that somebody is calling him. It must be an important call, since he makes his way across the hall full of colorful dancers and goes outside. The atmosphere is cold, quiet, and vast here. He answers the phone, and the woman from a mental health counseling service informs him that he has missed his appointment. She's interested in knowing if Mr. Hae-feng would like to postpone the visit. But Hae-feng simply says, decisively and reactively, that he isn't Hae-feng, and he hangs up the phone. Then, slowly, he starts brushing off some snow from the stairs, and he watches the flakes as they make their way down. We can tell what he's thinking about in this moment. Nana's bus arrives down the street, and Hae-feng sees her coming out. Now, the third main character is introduced. His name is Han Zio, and he is purchasing some products for his family business. It's clear, however, that it isn't going so well after the pandemic. He is asking the seller to put it on a tab once again. In the next scene, Hae-feng follows a group of tourists to see a traditional Korean village. Nana is there, of course, guiding the trip. All are cheerful except Hae-feng. When they get there, however, we see that Nana's cheerfulness was forced. It is definitely a mask that she chooses to wear every day for work. Hae-feng finds her smoking a cigarette alone, and he sits with her for a while. They have a short but honest conversation. When Hae-feng asks her whether she likes working there or not, she is surprised. Is anybody supposed to like what they are doing for a living? Clearly she isn't crazy about her job, but like it or not, she must continue doing it. This responsibility and full commitment of Nana truly impress Hae-feng. They stop by a restaurant to have lunch. Hae-feng awkwardly stands in the middle of the hall, looking around, trying to find a place to sit. It is a pitiful picture to look at, a young man thinking he isn't welcome anywhere. When Nana sees him like this, however, she quickly resolves his crisis. She emanates an enormous amount of self-confidence, something that Hae-feng lacks and craves. We follow her then as she goes upstairs and enters a room where Zio is sleeping. It seems like they've been friends for a long time, since she wakes him up quite roughly. They go out into the corridor, then have a smoke in silence. Zio invites her to have dinner tonight, and Nana agrees. After all, he has asked 100 times already, but on the condition that he doesn't say how much he loves her. Zio's sure that she doesn't have to worry about that at all. The conversation is confusing. There is no way of knowing for sure what kind of relationship they have. Back to Hae-feng, he's listening to the news, conveying the case of one illegal immigrant who has been accused of many thefts lately, when his phone rings once more. He goes towards the stairs to answer it in privacy. It is the mental health counseling service again, and once more, he lies that they have the wrong number. He goes upstairs and sees Zio and Nana planning their date. Nana turns to him and asks what he wants. Her professional mask is off here. Hae-feng says that he is looking for a restroom. The next destination for the tourist group is a gift shop. Nana is moving energetically all around, resolving issues, while Hae-feng is still in a raging war against his awkwardness. She approaches him then and hands him a small cup of honey to taste. She makes a witty joke, and for the first time, she catches Hae-feng smiling. As it turns out, he doesn't look so bad while not frowning. This time, Hae-feng even chuckles. He is standing in front of the counter in the next scene, about to purchase the honey she made him taste. Suddenly, he realizes that his phone is missing, and he doesn't have any cash. The entire group is asked to check if they've accidentally taken his phone, but nobody has it. It has been lost. In the end, when Nana sees Hae-feng at his hotel, she gives him some cash. She understands what it means to lose your phone. It means you are cut off from a large portion of your world. She kindly asks him not to raise this with her agency. It could get her into trouble. Of course, Hae-feng has no intention to do so, and he gladly accepts the cash before he turns around to enter his hotel. In the last moment, however, Nana shouts at him from the distance and asks him if he has any plans for tonight. In the next scene, Zio is quite surprised when he sees Nana coming in with another man. It's Hae-feng. Zio's distress is clear, but he hides it well, introduces himself, and rolls with it in peace. He maintains a friendly attitude throughout the entire night. Nana says that it was his family's restaurant they visited later that day, and Hae-feng follows that he's working in finance in Shanghai. Nana drinks so much that the boys have to carry her up the stairs in the next scene. With her wiggly feet, she enters her kitchen and fetches some more drinks. She's wearing shoes in her home. Zio didn't know this. Actually, it is his first time being in Nana's apartment. He looks around, surprised by this fact, as they've been friends for a really long time. Tomorrow is a rest day, so all of them are free to drink themselves to sleep. The three are getting along well, and even though Hae-feng still looks kind of awkward, he feels included. Zio finds a guitar and starts singing a song. The heartfelt lyrics are about a sorrowful goodbye, a lost love, and a night. And Jiao sings it so that it's clear he has something enormous and vulnerable lying deep in his heart that he never revealed before. Haifeng sees tears falling from Nana's eyes. There's definitely more to these people than meets the eye. The next morning, Haifeng wakes up and immediately jumps from the bed. He's late for his early flight. He wakes up both Nana and Jiao, and they tell him that there's no way he will get there in time. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there's only one flight a day. And so, he should stay here a little longer and have a little more fun. When they brush off their hangovers, they go outside and sit on Jiao's bike. Today, he will be their guide into the famous Yanbian Prefecture, a small shrine of Korean culture within the giant that is China. The tour is great. Haifeng is mesmerized by the scenery. He learns how to ride a bike, and they break some ice on a frozen river. All in all, the day turns out to be adventurous and bonding. In the evening, Jiao prepares the food with his own hands for Nana and Haifeng in his restaurant. He says that he makes the same quality food for both tourists and friends. Suddenly, Nana gets interested. Which one is Haifeng, a friend or a tourist? Perhaps he wants to be none of them to Nana. In the next scene, the two arrive at her apartment without Jiao. As usual, Haifeng sits on the edge of the couch, tense and awkward, as if he were facing some imminent danger. Unexpectedly, Nana puts her head in his lap and asks him a sudden question. She's interested if he likes boys. At first, Haifeng is in a state of panic, but he gathers himself enough to say that he doesn't. And so, the two end up in Nana's bed. As the temperature rises, the two entangle within each other. Haifeng grabs her ankle and then, reactively, jumps up and rolls over. There's an enormous scar on Nana's ankle. The moment is ruined. In the next scene, the two are in separate rooms. Nana breaks the silence first, saying that she injured her when she was 18. She doesn't specify how it happened after Haifeng asks her, but after a while, she asks him if he still feels like coming back to her bed. He does, and the two spend the night together. The next morning, Jiao picks up his brother from school. The latter asks him a sudden question. He is interested if he's going out with Nana. Of course, Jiao doesn't answer, but the little man snatches his phone out of his hands and sends some messages. Jiao gets his phone back anxiously. We get back into Nana's apartment, and Haifeng is sitting in the living room, while Nana is taking a shower. There's someone at the door. Nana shouts from the bathroom that it must be a takeaway guy, so Haifeng calmly opens the door. The moment gets awkward as he sees Jiao standing at the door, trying to remain calm. It's clear, however, that seeing Haifeng there is a little hurtful for him. Finally, the awkward silence is broken by Jiao. He tells Haifeng that he'll show him some more places today. It is evening in the next scene, and the three are in front of a frozen lake. A lot of people are gathered in this colorful and cold place, and Nana gets separated from the group to look at people skating on the lake. She notices a girl in a dress ice skating extremely skillfully. It is like a mirage that grasps her attention. Perhaps this is what she would like to do, instead of being a tour guide. Maybe the scar on her right ankle is connected to ice skating. They enter a bookshop. Jiao isn't much of a bookworm, so he just sits around while Nina and Haifeng browse the shelves. Nana comes across an illustrated book about ice skating, while Haifeng finds an art book filled with mesmerizing paintings. He finds one of the pictures most appealing. It is a depiction of a standoff between a tiger and a bear. Weirdly enough, there's no conveying of primal aggression or rivalry in this scenery. The bear even looks more human than bestial. Jiao proposes a game to play in the bookstore then, and the night becomes much more cheerful after. Coming out of the bookstore, Nana and Jiao bring Haifeng somewhere else. Haifeng wouldn't have thought that a place like this existed in Yanji. It is a loud club. Naturally, Haifeng prefers to sit and drink while the others dance away their sorrows. This is particularly true in Jiao's case, who suddenly attempts to kiss Nana. The latter rejects him quickly, though. She doesn't make a big deal out of it and lets it pass. Jiao must have had too much to drink. She continues dancing as if nothing special has happened either. Haifeng, however, starts acting extremely peculiar. He holds an ice cube above his face and lets it melt. And as droplets trickle down on his glasses, he starts crying. Mild sadness becomes extreme sobbing in a matter of seconds. And there is no way of knowing for sure what the reason is for this radical change in mood. The first one to notice his little island of sadness is Jiao, and their small detour ends in this manner. Haifeng immediately gets ill as he breathes in some fresh air. He drank too much. They buy some water and noodles, then head towards the zoo. Suddenly, Haifeng begins to open up. He tells them about the way his mother always demanded the best from him in everything. He studied hard, only to get away from home, but realized that nothing changed in essence. The only thing is that he has to work even harder now. It seems that only Nana understands him. When the three are standing in front of a monkey cage, a number of thoughts start roaming in Haifeng's mind. Out loud, he asks them if they ever thought about ending it all. In this instance too, Nana is the only one who understands what he means by it. Perhaps looking at the strange, miserable existence of zoo animals made the two of them realize how easy it is to be miserable, and how much courage is required to live like a human being. The dawn is near, and at the end of their night, they make plans for the next day. They are going to see Changbai Mountain and Heaven Lake. When the trio enter Nana's apartment building, they see someone sitting on the stairs, holding a cardboard box. She's been waiting for Nana. It's clear they haven't seen each other in a long time, but you couldn't call their meeting friendly. The boys leave politely then, and the two ascend the stairs alone. The stranger turns out to have been Nana's teammate in the past. The two aren't particularly hostile, but they do not seem very happy to see each other either. The girl is in the city to see her relatives, and she just came by to give Nana her medals. The latter avoids having any contact with her. She only says what's necessary, and doesn't let herself share any words whatsoever. Gradually, she learns that her coach has been trying to reach her, just like her mother. Soon, Nana gets extremely irritated, opens the door, and tells her to see herself out. She doesn't want to hear about any of it. It seems like she's been trying hard to forget about the chapter about ice skating in her life. It is a chapter of helplessness and disappointment. Eventually, the girl tells Nana that she misses her and leaves. Meanwhile, Xiao drops Haifeng off at his hotel. The latter expresses his gratitude and readies himself to go up and confront Solitude. But in the last moment, he turns around and tells Xiao that he doesn't want to be alone. And so, the two enter Haifeng's hotel room in the next scene. It looks clean and expensive, just like Xiao imagined. He lights his cigarette, opens the window, looks over the city, then looks back and sees Haifeng sound asleep. It truly has been a long night. Xiao picks Nana up in the next scene. Both are irritated from sleepiness and can barely talk to each other without being rude. Today is the day they visit Mount Changbai. This time, Haifeng, who's quite delighted with the amount of sleep he got, uses this opportunity and takes up the role of the tour guide. There's a story about this mountain in Korean lore. And so, he starts telling the story of a tiger and a bear that one day wished to become humans. They prayed to the king living in the heavens to make their wishes come true, and the latter granted them 20 cloves each and some mugwort. He told them to eat only that food, and to stay out of the sun for 100 days. The tiger quickly became restless and went for a hunt, but the bear stayed patient. Eventually, the patience paid off, and the king in the heavens transformed it into a beautiful woman. Later, the people called her the Bear Lady. Haifeng looks at Nana and sees her sleeping. It seems like this story brought her relief. While driving, Xiao suddenly feels an urge to open up, or perhaps to speak whatever comes to mind, so that he doesn't fall asleep behind the wheel. He talks about this ordinary life and his dream to break away. He wants to see what is outside. He wants to experience life to the fullest and watch the wonders of the world. He has no tools to do it, though. Haifeng tries to encourage him, saying that there's nothing particularly great or different about the outside world. But maybe he's wrong. Perhaps he went to the wrong place. The evening comes quickly, and they cross the border. There, once more, they see a picture of an illegal immigrant who's being accused of several burglaries, but still manages to get away and maintain his freedom. They are stopped and checked by the police too. Finally, they see the face of this criminal on the walls of their hotel. That night, Xiao sees a mysterious and dubious man outside. He is searching for something in what looks like a pile of trash, but when he sees Xiao looking at him, he drops it immediately and walks away. Xiao thinks for a moment. This might be the valuable state criminal that the country is after, but eventually, he chooses not to follow him. The next day, they are stopped once more before entering the Changbai Mountain territory. The man tells them that the weather up there tends to change quite rapidly, and so he hands out a handheld transceiver. In case anything happens, they should reach out. The trail turns out to be tough. The weather keeps changing, but the scenery is truly mesmerizing, and the trio is in a delightful mood. After a few stops, they get near the Heaven Lake, but suddenly, they hear a voice coming out of the transceiver. They are told that the weather is about to change drastically. The fog will cover the lake soon, and they won't be able to see anything. The trio should head back immediately. It's a shame they're coming back now, but they are convinced that danger is looming above their heads. And so, they choose to be responsible and follow the order. While coming back, however, Haifeng asks to take a rest. He has to pee. He finds himself standing on a ridge afterwards. Just like before, he sees the snowflakes falling in the ravine. They seem free, lighthearted, and careless. Everything Haifeng isn't and longs to be. Suddenly, he feels an urge to follow his heart, to give in, and he almost takes a step forward. But he hears Xiao anxiously calling Nana as if she were in some danger. Haifeng stops immediately. He realizes now how much meaning can be concentrated into the single name of a girl one loves. He dashes towards the voice and sees something that freezes him in place. It is an enormous bear coming slowly down the slope, breathing heavily. The beast is calm, though. An unbelievable thing happens then. The boys are stunned by surprise and fear as Nana takes a step forward and sits on the ground in front of the bear. Xiao and Haifeng are afraid to make any sudden movements, but the bear only approaches Nana, sniffs her a couple times, and leaves. That night, the criminal is found and captured. His face looks strangely like Xiao's. The next morning, the latter is sleeping on the couch in Nana's apartment, while Haifeng and Nana are sleeping together. Xiao wakes up first and feels a knife go through his heart as he sees the couple sleeping soundly. The mild noise he makes while standing up to leave wakes Nana up too. She sees him, and all at once, she realizes what it means to him to see her sleeping with another. She stands up then and embraces him gently from behind, to tell him that she understands, and that he means a lot, and perhaps even to say sorry. Xiao turns around. For a moment, his lips start moving, but nothing comes out. They are looking at each other and, without uttering a word, saying goodbye. This is how their relationship ends. When Haifeng wakes up, Nana is taking a shower. He walks in the bathroom slowly and hugs her through the shower curtain. He sighs, and tears start rolling down his cheeks. He knows this is the end, and Nana knows it too. This is why neither of them bother throwing off the curtain to embrace each other firmly. The blurry curtain is both a defense against the heartache and a representation of the gap between them. The pain is still dire, but the love that was seeded within the last few days won't ever fade away. Finally, Haifeng leaves his watch for Nana and walks away. Xiao's brother is playing on a phone, wasting his time as usual in the next scene. Xiao is resting beside him. He realizes then that he's wasting his life. Suddenly, an urge to leave this place comes to him. In the next scene, he's riding his bike far away. His life used to revolve around one person for a long time. Suddenly, an overwhelming sense of sorrow and helplessness comes to him and guides his actions. All this time, he wanted to see the outside world, the heaven lake, something magnificent, pleasant, or otherwise. Perhaps leaving a city won't do anything about the fact that there's only one road that goes to that outer world. Suddenly, Xiao gets in the opposite lane to meet a truck. A strong decision is in his eyes, but in the very last moment, he turns right. He's smiling now. He can say at least that, just like his two friends, he has embraced his end and is ready to start living. In the final scene, Nana skates on a frozen lake in her dreams. She's alone, free, and in peace. After waking up, she takes her phone and calls her family. She stands up then, goes to another room, opens up a certain box, and grabs her old ice skates. It seems as if her life was on hold for too long. But now, thanks to the experiences she went through, it is about to resume.